So it's lovely to meet you. Come on in.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Shoes off?
Yes, please. Okay, so I think the first thing that we need to make sure is that you understand what Reiki is, because it's really important that you understand how this works. Because you're going to be doing all this healing by yourself. I'm just the catalyst for the healing. So the first thing to explain, I think, is that with your body, basically you are made up, your body is made up of millions of atoms of energy. And that energy is connected to the universe or whatever people want to believe is up there, God or whatever. But basically that connects you to the universe, but to everybody and everything around you. And it's really important to understand that what you're giving out energetically, the energy you're putting out is going to attract the same type of energy back at you. So it's really important to focus on positivity and letting go of any negative thoughts, feelings and emotions that you carry around with you. And we don't even realize we're doing it half the time, but we carry around so much negativity in our bodies. And when I say that, it really is thoughts, feelings and emotions about a situation or a person. So we're talking about things like anger, frustration, fear, guilt, those kind of things. And those things kind of sit in your energy system, in your body, in one of your chakras. Now, I know you've already said you're not sure what chakras are. So what chakras are, they're like spinning wheels of energy that control the energy in your body. And we have 7 major chakras, energy centers, going all the way down the center of our body. And when life is perfect, those are all spinning the same size and the same speed. And this beautiful river of energy that comes into our bodies just flows through those lovely energy centers. So it kind of controls them. Now, when life is perfect, those are all spinning the same size and the same speed. But we all know life's not perfect and stuff happens in life. And when that happens, the negative thoughts, feelings and emotions from those situations come and sit in one of your energy centers, wherever you personally hold your stress, I'll call it. And the problem with that is that we forget that it's even in there. There's so much stuff that comes at us through our lives, through daily lives, but going right back as well, sometimes to childhood. And we don't realize that it's building up in our energy center, in our body. And what happens is you end up with a pile of kind of negative, dense energy, and you can even liken them to like pebbles or stones, because they're that heavy compared to this lovely light energy that we really need to keep our energy and our bodies in tip-top condition. So as these kind of little pebbles and gravel come and sit in our chakras, in our body, sometimes great big boulders or rocks, because they're that large, say losing a loved one or divorce or something like that, can create a really big blockage of energy with a lot of emotion attached. Now what happens then is you get this big pile up of rubble here. The energy can still flow, but when it gets to your energy center where you're holding, it has to slow down to go round this pile of rubble. It's the easiest way to try and describe energy, which is invisible, so it's very hard to explain. Now at that point your body will start to talk to you. It will start to give you some physical dis-ease, some physical discomfort in your body, normally around the area where you hold your negative energy. At that point, if it was somewhere like your solar plexus or your heart chakra, what would happen then is that your body would start to give you something physical to make you realize, to talk to you, to make you realize something's not quite right. So here it might give you a bit of indigestion, for example. And we're all very good at just recognizing indigestion, taking some Gaviscon, ignoring it and carrying on. So, which is great, but it's just masking the symptoms. We're just dealing with covering up the symptoms of indigestion. But the negativity is still there, and every day more and more stuff comes, and it's growing and getting bigger and bigger. And eventually, if you leave it long enough, it kind of dams up this energy center. So the energy really struggles to get through. It just comes down to this energy center and it just blocks the energy. Now, at that point, your body will start to shout at you. It will physically manifest into dis-ease, discomfort, pain. So if, for example, it was here, you may have real indigestion problems. You may, if you leave it long enough, have IBS, hernias, that kind of thing. But it might start with a bit of acid reflux. And at that point, normally, that's when someone says something doesn't feel quite right. When your body is so full of the negative energy, those thoughts, feelings and emotions that we're carrying around, when they're so bunged up that your body is turning into physical dis-ease and discomfort and giving you physical pain, that's the point you would normally go to a GP. And bless them, 9 times out of 10, they will give you some drugs or medication to deal with the symptoms, which is great, but that still doesn't deal with the cause. And then quite often people will be taking drugs to deal with the symptoms, and then they'll have to take more drugs to deal with the side effects from those drugs, and they just end up in a circle, and they get very frustrated. And that's the point when they still sensing that they're not dealing with the cause of the problem, and that's when they look for alternative therapy. And that's where Reiki. So the beauty of Reiki energy is the energy comes through me, from the universal energy comes through me. I'm a pure channel for the energy. I'm not putting my energy into your body. And I channel it through my hands, although it comes through the whole of my body, which is why I'm a great fan of healing hugs, because they really work. But basically I channel through my hands, and I'm able to feel with my hands which area of your body you're holding your stress in, your negativity. But the beauty of the Reiki is that the Reiki energy brings things to the surface, which is fantastic, because we have to bring things to the surface in order to let them go. And the idea is all about letting go. This is what we've got to do. We've got to let go of all the rubbish that we cart around in our bodies. We carry this around, sometimes for many, many years, and sometimes subconsciously, not even realizing it. And it is only when we start getting pain or discomfort in our bodies that we actually start listening and start thinking something's not right here. And so the frustrating thing for some people is when it brings things to the surface. We're talking about physical pain, we're talking about emotional pain. So very often there's a lot of emotion attached to situations in the past that have affected you. And it's very common for those emotions to come to the surface during a Reiki session, sometimes when we're just talking, because I'm already oozing Reiki and I'll be bringing stuff to the surface, which will allow you to talk about it, to purge your body of these things by talking. And they often say a problem shared is a problem halved. And that's really because when you're talking about stuff that's negative, you're getting it out. You know, you're not blocking it and holding it in, because we're all too clever at burying stuff so that we don't deal with it. And we literally bury it. We push it down, we squash it, and we fill it up, and then we shut down so that we can't deal with it, and we don't have to face it, basically. So this is what happens during a Reiki session, and the Reiki energy goes into your body. I don't need to channel it particularly. I don't need to guide it where it needs to go. It just knows where to go. It will bring things to the surface. It will start tempting your closed or blocked chakras to open up in order to let go. Does that make any sense? I'm going to say it's very hard to describe Reiki because the energy is invisible, but the power of it is so incredible. And the most common feeling that people get after a Reiki session is the feeling of lightness, of feeling lighter, and they kind of can't understand why it feels lighter. But if I explain that analogy to them, that they're constantly carting around, you know, rubbish. Imagine all this rubble and pebbles and gravel in a rucksack on your back. And that's all the past. All of that that's in there is in the past, because it's happened yesterday, day before, year before, 10 years ago. And therefore we don't need it, but we cart it about. And if you imagine it on a rucksack, and each time you throw another stone in, it gets heavier and heavier, and eventually you kind of fall over. And it's that point when you fall over that normally people think something's not quite right. But you know, the weight of it, by not letting go of the past and carrying it around into the present moment, people find it very hard to move forward in their lives. They feel stuck. And it really is like having one foot in the past, so you can't actually move forward. And that's when people start to come, because they just feel so stuck, or it's like they're walking through mud and they're not making any progress in life. And quite often that's simply because they're hanging on to stuff they really don't need. Okay, so it's really important that you understand that, because after a session I will then send you home with homework to do so that you can continue the process of self-healing, because the most important thing to remember here is you are healing yourself. I'm not healing you, you are healing yourself. All I am is the conduit, the person that pushes you in the right direction to do that. Okay? So if you'd like to come and get onto the couch, so if I can have you lying on your back, perfect. This is for under your knees, just to ease your lower back. So the important thing is to be as comfortable as possible. Okay? I'm going to snuggle you in a blanket because the whole purpose of this is to get you as relaxed as possible. Okay? because the more relaxed you are, the easier it is for your body to heal itself. So. Okay. Lovely. Are you comfy?
Very, yeah.
Good, because you can have a wriggle and make sure you're really comfy. Okay. Right, so when I'm working, I normally work in silence. You're going to feel my hands on your body, and just sometimes I'm working above your body, but I'm still going to be around you all the time, so don't worry. And are you comfortable with me hands on?
Yep.
Lovely, okay. So what we'll do is just get you to close your eyes and just sink your body down into the couch. Okay, and just relax as much as you can. If you feel yourself drifting off to sleep, that's absolutely fine. Just let yourself go, okay? can open your eyes. Okay.